Hell of a card here tonight in the association here. Love some of these games on the board as we get ready for a jam-packed weekend across the sports betting landscape. We've got three of the best here to help navigate through this card here tonight as we welcome in the Friday crew here on the NBA Tip-Off Show with Skee Profit in the house. RC, Mr. Ronald Kabang, ready to roll. And, of course, Teddy Covers, ready to roll on what should be a very fun NBA night here. Love some of these matchups, and, of course, no better place to start than either agreeing or not agreeing with the contrarian gods, who I believe last time we met here, gentlemen, there might have been some teetering on the fence, couple of Swiss flags with the contrarian gods. They were in no mood. They ended up cleaning in that one anyway. They ended up winning it. We'll see if they're right here tonight because the Raptors no longer at +3, by the way, which is interesting. Now I'm seeing 2.5 showing up. And I got a lot of tickets on Utah here, and I just keep seeing the line moving one way. So are the contrarian gods up to something here, Skee, by looking at the Raptors on the road, maybe to pull out the outright upset here?
You know, this is a matchup where I'm not mad at either side you want to look at. I've been back in Utah for a while. I've been on here saying they've gotten healthy and they continue to make their backers money. They've covered 9 of their last 11. They haven't been favorites in all these roles, but they've been a home favorite 4 times this season, and they have covered 3 of those. But the Raptors, they made the trade. And they got a little bit of a boost just like the Knicks did. They've covered 5 of their last 6 games. So 2 teams playing very well right now. And the one difference is Utah's on the front end of a back-to-back. They play the Lakers tomorrow. So maybe in the second half of this game, Utah can save some minutes, save some energy for that next game. And the Raptors continue to try to go all out for a win. So I'll lean with the contrarian gods for today. I don't have a reason to talk you off.
It's certainly the market. I mean, a lot of people think Utah kind of hard to get in front of that train, given how well they have done, especially at home, RC. But, I mean, the line ain't moving towards them. I thought we would have had 3.5 by now. But, nope, going the other way here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I know this is pretty tough. I think the Raptors, obviously, after the trade, they've been doing pretty well against the spread. The Jazz are in a good spot themselves, though. They've been really good at home. And I know Skee mentioned the first leg of back-to-back games, but I looked at that too. And the first leg of back-to-back games at home, and they're at home, they're actually 3-0 straight up and against the spread in that spot. So, and they beat some pretty good teams, Clippers and Knicks, part of that group of 3 teams that they beat. And then you look at the Raptors side, they've been in a bad travel situation here. 9th road game in the last 10, 5 straight. Being non-conference as well, the last 5 road games being non-conference. To me, I know right when the trade happened, I knew exactly what was going on. Their offense improved, their defense struggled, right? And that's kind of stayed true to how they've been playing. But you can't struggle defensively against this Jazz offense. That's actually, they're clicking pretty well right now. They've actually gone over their team total in 11 of their last 13 games. So for me, I think there's momentum on both sides, obviously, but I think that the Jazz being at home, not having to deal with travel situation. Obviously, the look ahead is pretty tough. But I think the other thing was some people were looking at them as far as a letdown after beating the Nuggets, right? I actually looked at that too. In the potential letdown after beating the Nuggets, there's 10 teams that done that outright as dogs. And the following game, they're actually 9-1 ATS after beating the Nuggets outright. So I don't know if the letdown is there. Obviously, the Nuggets probably not as good as they were last year either. So things to me are pointing towards the Jazz side. I feel like even though they both have momentum on their side, I think Jazz are in a better spot.
Are you liking the Jazz? Teddy, it's interesting. Toronto's got all sorts of headlines here. Siakam's being traded. If I hear that again, I'm gonna scream. But yet he's telling everyone, I ain't signing with you if you trade me for a long-term deal. So kudos. He obviously wants to stay there, and they feel rejuvenated. But it's that dreaded last game of the road trip here before they go home in altitude. Do you agree with the market move here towards them, though, in this spot?
No. Utah's a one-way team right now. If you're playing a Jazz game, you're playing on the Jazz, or you're not playing the game. End of write-up, end of story. All right. They've been a significantly undervalued commodity. I mean, not just by a point or two. I mean, they're dogs, significant dogs, and winning these games straight up. They're playing their best ball of the year right now. They're not a team I have any interest in standing in front of. So it's Utah or pass for me a priori. And obviously Toronto's playing probably their best ball of the year right now. But you mentioned it. They're all back-to-back losses at the tail end of a road trip, and they find ways to lose close games. They've done it this whole trip, and it's not like the Raptors are going to get the calls. We've seen that already on this road trip. Yeah, give me Utah. Sorry, contrarian gods, not today.
Yeah, so strong. I'm looking for. Am I missing an injury or something here for you? Because I don't see anything listed for Utah. So it's a little strange. This big push for Toronto, but we'll see what happens there as Utah at home laying a small number here tonight. Interesting spot. All right, so we got a featured matchup here. This is also intriguing with the Embiid-less Philadelphia 76ers. It's been bouncing back and forth between a pick'em and the Sixers laying one against the Kings here. I believe this is only their second game, it feels like, in a minute here. So Sixers back at home here. Kings traveling to Philadelphia. Obviously, it hasn't been great, Skee, without Embiid for the Sixers. I think 2-7 this year without him. But I believe 8 of those 9 games have been on the road. So being in Philadelphia certainly feels like it could help this Sixers team get over the hump without him. Are you buying that, though, or do you think Sacramento's the way to look here?
Yeah, they've been on the road and they've been versus some pretty solid teams as well. So I'm not gonna fault the Sixers too much for that. One thing that I want to mention on this game, the Kings, this will be their third game in 4 nights, and the Sixers, yeah, they are coming off of an overtime game, but before that they had about 3 days off, so they still should be fairly rested. And again, you have a Kings team who is probably who's not as hungry as the Sixers team. They've won 2 games in a row compared to the Sixers, who are off back-to-back losses. So to see them at home in that spot where they're hungry for a win, even without Embiid, I think they have enough to get it done. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This Kings team, they've made my hell no list. I want absolutely nothing to do with them. So I'm already looking for every single reason to back the Sixers. And if I can get the hungry team at home who's playing better defense, I'll roll with it.
Oh, I love it. Our first, hell no, RC. Hell no. Absolutely not. Although they did have a couple of rough games against Detroit and Charlotte they pulled through. What are we doing here in this game here tonight, RC? Are you buying the Sixers here at home?
Yeah, from a side perspective, it's pretty tough. I think Ski brings up a lot of points. I know with the Kings, they're also the home to road splits. It's like they're polar opposites, right? They score 7 points less per game, and they allow 9 points less per game on the road than they do at home. I know they're slight dogs in this one, but as road dogs in general this season, they're 5-1 ATS, 5-1 to the under. They've actually kept all 6 opponents in that spot to their team total under as well, allowing 107.8 points per game. On the opposite side, we have a Sixers team, obviously without Embiid, they've been struggling offensively a little bit, especially in the more recent games. If we look at the last 5 games in general, they've stayed under their team total in 4 of them. And then the last game, they did go into OT. The last time they went into OT, the next game, they only scored 99 points. Now, I don't know where to go from a side perspective or even the full game total, but I think this is a situation where we look at the Sixers to stay under their team total, whether they win or not, because I feel like they're in a spot too that obviously the Kings, they struggle offensively on the road. Maybe like I said, win or lose, I feel like the Sixers stay under their team total here.
All right, things look maybe a little lower scoring game here. Teddy, how do you look at this Sixers team? Better rested at home here. No Embiid, though.
Well, I'm going to talk about this game when it comes to best bets from a side standpoint. So we'll hold off on that. Stay tuned. You'll get to that opinion before this show is through. But from a total standpoint, I'm actually going to disagree with Ronald. And I don't like disagreeing with RC. But in this instance, we look at a whole bunch of instances. Okay, let's start with this. There was a lot of talk after the last game. They played Atlanta last time out. And that game was shootout throughout. The pace was there. all the talk after the game was we liked our pace, we liked our aggressiveness. We need to continue to do that. And that to me says we're going to keep on playing up tempo. All right. You have Embiid out. What are you going to do? Your low post defense isn't what it was. And you're going to go with a small ball lineup, play more up tempo. Sacramento has no problems playing that style. That's what they do. So I lean over in this one before I lean towards any team totals under. So, Ronald, you and I will have to agree to disagree on Kings Sixers, at least from a pace perspective.
It'd be a fantastic game here tonight, guys. So buckle up with that one. We do have a interesting total on the board here in our overtime section. And of course, we love every time the Atlanta Hawks are involved or the Indiana Pacers are involved. We're generally looking at a boatload of points, but we have seen a move down in this game here tonight with the Pacers and the Hawks. 252.5. Saw this thing at 240, 254 rather, 254.5. So obviously no Halliburton. It certainly does affect the efficiency there of the offense of the Pacers, but it's still Atlanta, Teddy. So the market seems to be moving down with this one. Is it over or past with these two teams with you?
So when we compare teams like, teams in certain categories or calibers, like Atlanta and Washington in terms of defensive acumen and pace, to me are kind of in the same ballpark. All right. Two teams that want to run, they're going to push, they're not going to play a whole lot of defense. And last time out, it's Indiana 112, Washington 104. And the quotes after the game for Indiana are, we're pleased with our defense. We need to continue to play defense like this. It's all about our defense right now. It's not going to be the same without Halliburton, a whole different ball game. So considering Indiana did that, and again, Atlanta's not going to do that for anyone. And Atlanta's certainly more adept at controlling the game flow than a team like Washington is. But when we're talking about totals in this range, above 250, if even one of the two teams plays a little bit of defense, the under is live. I understand why the money's come up for under in this ballgame. It's the only way I would look.
I got to tell you, Skee, I can't imagine if Sacramento's on the hell no list. I would imagine any sort of under with these two teams is also somewhere near that hell no list here. But it is falling. So how about you? Do you agree with the market move here with an under in this game tonight?
Yeah, I agree with the market. This Pacers team has already started playing more towards unders. They've gone under in 5 straight road games. And, it's already been mentioned. Halliburton out is going to mess up a little bit of the pace and also the efficiency for this Pacers team. It's tough to trust the Hawks to play defense, but it's more of, these games are priced a lot based on, the Hawks too, but a lot of it based on Indiana. And right now, Indiana is not playing that same high-scoring ball game, those same high-scoring ball games as we saw earlier in the year. So I lean towards under. I would not be betting this one over.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Team totals, I'm seeing 128.5 RC for Atlanta, 123.5 for Indiana. It doesn't feel like either of those are out of reach for them. So what gives here, man? What do you think we're gonna get?
Yeah, it's tough to take an over with on a Pacers team without Hallie, especially at this number here. I think what you mentioned, the team total at 123 or whatever. Like I looked at the 4 games without Hallie. 3 of them they hit 104, 109, and 112. So that's I know they hit 144 against the Heat, but the Heat didn't have Butler, Harrell. They didn't have Bam either. So that defense was gone from the Heat side. So they were able to take advantage of that. But for the most part, I think they're off. Like you got Teddy and Skee said, their offensive efficiency is just terrible without him. The Hawks on their side, yeah, they play a fast pace. Their defense is sort of terrible, but at the same time, I looked at them on the first leg of back-to-back games, and they've actually stayed under the last 3 situations in that spot. So there is this instance where maybe they do either slow down the pace a little bit so that they could save themselves for the next game. But even then, man, it's really tough to take an under against with this Hawks team too. For me, if I was to bet anything, I would probably lean towards the under, but definitely not an over without Hallie.
Yeah, tough, different team without him, certainly, that we're used to. So opportunity may present itself as the market keeps going down in that matchup there. But with the schedule here tonight, ton of games, ton of opportunities to back a few dogs here tonight as well. So let's see which one might be barking. What do we got tonight, Robert?
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
And just like that, Teddy will be seeing this in his nightmares. But here we go. It is the Kings. It is the Pistons, the Warriors, the Hornets, Raptors, Pacers, Grizzlies, the Magic, Blazers, and the Pelicans. Boy, I tell you, we got double digits on the board there. We got kind of a couple of pick 'em prices here. So, Skee, kick it off. Little something for everyone here tonight. Give me a dog here that might be barking.
Well, I have to say, I get injury news, and it's not in my favor. It's not in my favor, but I'm still gonna roll with it just because it's also the reason I like this game is also a fate of the other team, mostly a fate of the other team rather. So I'll go to Detroit, and I do see the line on the move. It went up to 8.5. I'm seeing some of them coming back down to 8. So best number you can get right now is still 8.5. I personally have 7.5 in my pocket, and the reason I bet this is, for one, you have a Houston team who is on the front end of a back-to-back. They're going to go play in Boston tomorrow, and I just believe that Ime Udoka wants his team to be more prepared for that Boston game tomorrow versus his old team than for the Pistons today. I don't think they really care at all about playing the Pistons. This is a Rockets team also who has won 3 games on the road, 3 out of 15, 3-12 straight up. How can you expect this team to go and win by double digits or win by margin? I just don't see it. They haven't been playing great basketball lately. They've only covered 3 of their last 9. I think Detroit at home can keep it respectable tonight. So I'll take the Pistons. That's my dog of the day.
I hate to say it, but Detroit's actually, the Houston Rockets chimed in there. So sorry. Didn't like your slide with the 3 wins on the road there, but we do have other opportunities on the board that doesn't require Ronald you to get shut off quickly. So tell us where on this list might you be looking here tonight?
You know, it was funny. I before the show, I thought hard about maybe picking the Blazers, but I didn't want to try and explain myself. But no, I think the Warriors. I think the Warriors are in a good spot. I know it's tough to back them here, how they've been playing recently, but we got a Bulls team that's coming off 2 OT games, and one of the things that I look at historically in this spot, if you have a team that's a favorite coming off 2 OT games, they ended up winning both of those games. They've actually only been covering at a 27.8% rate, and that's since 2011. So that means fading these teams is hitting at a 72.2% rate. I think Ralph Michaels will be proud of that trend there. But if you look at the Warriors too, if you look at recent, current season, you look at the Warriors as dogs of 3 or more, 3 or more points, 8-1 ATS this season, including 5-0 ATS on the road. On the opposite side, you look at a Bulls team, they actually struggle in these tighter games at home as favorites. So 3-point favorites or less. They're 1-3 ATS in that spot. So the Bulls tend to struggle when the books expect a tight game, especially at home. So for me, if there's any time to back the Warriors, especially with how they've been playing, I think tonight would be the time.
They might, the whole damn team might be traded if they lose this game here tonight. Everybody, get a new team in here. Teddy, it's been a rough stretch for them. Teddy, where some intriguing spots here on the board tonight. What was the one dog that stuck out to you?
The Indiana Pacers stand out to me like a sore thumb out of all of these dogs. And I don't care how much you want to adjust for Halliburton, okay? Adjust 7 points for Halliburton. Atlanta's still not a 5.5-point favorite in my power ratings, all right? I mean, it's like, what are the markets doing on this? It baffles me here. When we look, again, at track records, which is what we have to go by, Hawks have been favored -3 or higher on 13 occasions this year. They've covered 2 of those. You know,
Oof.
Indiana hung $150 on them last week, and Halliburton played like 22 minutes in that game. You know, 5.5. It's Atlanta's not a let's lay 5.5 of them type of team. Indiana are pass for me, and it's clearly Indiana, the dog that I admire.
Good point, man. It's good luck trying to win by multiple buckets with Atlanta for sure. All right, there you got it. So we got some dogs, got a couple of big game breakdowns here for you. And of course, best bets are coming up. But a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, become part of the WagerTalk TV family if you could. And don't forget to hit us with a thumbs up there, those of you joining us live here today on this Friday. And if you're watching it on replay, we certainly appreciate you hanging with us here, as we've got plenty of games coming up all week long and plenty of videos and content breaking all those big games down. So welcome on in as we get ready for best bets here. And it's simple. We throw 60 seconds on the clock. We give these guys that 60 seconds to do whatever the hell they want with. As long as they give us the best bet, we're good to go. Of course, they're picking against Houston. The producer might buzz them, and then we don't hear a damn thing they have to say. But you're up, Skee. 60 seconds. Let's see what you got for us here on a best bet tonight.
Well, I will go back to Toronto once again, and they're facing the Utah Jazz tonight. I'm going to look at the total, as I can't find my note sheet here. But I don't need the note sheet because I've been talking about this for a while. So if you've been listening, you should already know where I'm going. This line has moved from 235.5 to 242.5, and I think rightfully so. And I still think you can get in on it. I personally bet 238.5. I'm just going to make that known. But the Raptors without OG, the pace gets higher. The Raptors without OG with their new additions, it's like the pace is over 100. The pace has gone up like 2 or 3 points. So them playing fast and just playing good basketball. You look at their last 4 games, 30-plus assists in all of them. That's a sign of a team that's playing really, really good basketball. So I trust them offensively. Both teams are top 10 in pace the last 5 games. Jazz are healthy. I think there's fireworks tonight, and I think it's played like a track meet. So up and over, still get it at 242.5 and take it to the window.
Boom. Still got some value there, guys, as Toronto hanging out, getting ready to go home there on a 6-game West Coast road trip. Maybe a lot less jump and blocking interest in those legs there. So I am with you there, Skee. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. RC, you got the floor. 60 seconds. Inbounding the ball. Where are you going here tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to that Grizzlies and Clippers game here. Before Jock, came back to the lineup, the Grizzlies were actually the worst offensive rated team in the league. I know we've seen a spike in offense from them the last couple of games here on the road, but I don't think they last, right? I think with Ja out again, Smart is out again. They caught a Suns team on the front end of back-to-back. They caught the Mavs, clear sandwich spot there. They had the Wolves before and then the Knicks after. So I think both of their opponents in the last 2 situations where they went over their team total, I think they caught teams in a bad spot. Now you face a focused Clippers team. They have a ton of momentum on their side in the middle of the pack defensively, but they are playing with one of the slowest paces in the league. And because of that, they've kept 6 of their last 8 opponents under their team total. And going back to the Grizzlies again, if you just look at them at home, they're actually 3-13 straight up, 12-4 to the under. But what sticks out the most is they're 15-1 to their team total under this season at home specifically. So got to go with the Grizzlies team total under 108.
Ooh. Expecting a beatdown of sorts is what it might sound like there with the Clippers taking on Memphis. All right, Teddy, 60 seconds here, my man. Where are you going for a best bet here tonight?
Let's go to Philadelphia. Talk about the Sacramento Kings and the Philadelphia 76ers on ESPN this evening. When we look at the Kings over the course of the last month, it really stood out to me. Yeah, they're beating the teams like the Hornets and the Pistons, the teams that they've beaten in their last 2 games. They're not beating the teams on their schedule with winning records. They have 2 wins in the last month against opponents with a winning record. Phoenix when they were slumping, and Orlando when they were riddled with injuries and slumping. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, there's urgency here. All right, this team's 1-4 straight up and against the spread their last 5. You know, they found a way to lose last time out in an OT game, and I like teams off an OT loss with a day to prepare, even without their star. Obviously, the price is cheap here. It's a win and cover type of situation. And we talk about Philly. Yeah, they're 2-7 without Embiid, but Skee mentioned it earlier. 8 of them have been on the road, and the majority of them have been step up in class games. This one isn't. Philly, -1.
Woo! Get it done. Philly for us there. I love it. Told you, a great card here tonight, guys. A lot of great games here on the board. To recap it for you, we do have RC going with that Grizzlies team total under 108 here tonight, taking on the Clippers. Skee is going, hey, if it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it. Anything to do with a Toronto over. He is in against Utah tonight, 242.5. And Teddy just told you, 76ers, no Embiid, so what? Plenty of talent there to be able to handle business at home against Sacramento. And there you've got it here. Great card in the NBA here tonight. We've got a huge card over the weekend, college hoops, more NBA, and, of course, wild card weekend in the NFL. So a little something for everyone this weekend. Make sure you visit Skee. Make sure RC as well as Teddy covers. Visit them all here, guys. Hop on board. It's a great weekend to make it a very profitable kickoff to the new year over at WagerTalk.com. But we're not done. If you click on that video on your screen right now, you'll get access to all the big games and all the head-to-head matchup game previews and best bets. It's just a click away. Go ahead and do it. We'll be back on Monday with another live edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Until then, best of luck with your plays. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.